Hi everyone, it's James here. Welcome to another video. So this is a video on a very specific theme or topic, and it's one I've been thinking about for a long time, as is the usual way with me. This is, well, I think I'm going to call it I Love It Loud, music which demands to be heard at volume. Now, this occurred to me a few years ago, this idea that there are certain kinds of music or certain songs or certain pieces of music which you have to listen to loud in order to appreciate them properly. It's almost as if the volume of the music is an intrinsic part of its identity, and if you were to listen to the music at low volume, you would literally be missing part of the picture. And it's actually occurred to me a few years ago. I've got a few friends who, as they've moved into middle age, they now mainly listen to music very quietly. You know, usually on an iPod in the corner, just discreetly, you know, playing in the background. And I think when you're young, that's the time that most people listen to music at pulverizing volume. And I must admit, you know, these days, to protect my ears, I don't listen to as much loud music as I used to. But to me, there are some tracks which there's no point listening to them quiet. You know, my partner, she does tend to follow me around the house turning my music down or asking me to turn it down, and there are some songs or some pieces of music which I'd rather not hear at all if I'm not going to hear them loud. So anyway, I've chosen 10, and then if you want to do a response to this, I'd be interested to know if you've got any examples in your back pocket. So let's whiz through a few. So the first one I'm going to show is the Beatles from their album With the Beatles. Now, all the early Beatles stuff sounds fantastic, loud, especially if you've got a mono, like an old mono Danzig or something, blaring out of one speaker. But the final song on this record, Money, the Bradford Gordy cover version, it sounds incredible if you hook up the volume. The guitars are so nasty and distorted. Lennon's voice is just really raspy and powerful, and just sounds absolutely terrific. And I often think that the Beatles were the punks of their generation, really, you know, when they first came out. So we're going to have a bit of Never Mind the Bollocks, aren't we? I mean, any of the tracks on this album sound fantastic, crushing volume. But I will go with Anarchy in the UK as being the one which has a particular roar to it. Chris Thomas did something to the guitars on this album, assuming it was some kind of compression, just for the radio, you know, just had a way of making the guitars come at you like a tidal wave. So yeah, that one demands to be heard loud. This next one sounds incredible loud. It is the Green Manalishi by the original Fleetwood Mac featuring Peter Green. Very scary song. It was a song really which was, I think, meant to evoke the mental demons and agonies that he was wrestling with. Just doesn't sound right quiet. There's no point playing it quiet in the background. It's a song that demands a certain level of volume. It's one to be hooked up to 11, definitely. Quite a scary piece of music, but absolutely terrific. Really, really powerful guitar and drums as well. You know, Mick Fleetwood and John McVie, the rhythm section, really powerful players. So yeah, that one is amazing. And this next one is incredible. If you turn it up, it just I mean, the entire album actually sounds amazing. This is Welcome to the Pleasure Dome by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and if you take the title track, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, hook it up, get some headphones on, it will blow your mind. It's I often describe it as the Sistine Chapel of pop. You know, there's so much detail there, but so much power as well. You know, given that it was largely a synth-based album, the Fairlight synth. Trevor Horn's production style, so much going on, and just great kind of bass and elaborate textures, and heard at volume, yeah, tremendous. Frankie. Right, I couldn't leave these guys out. These are the ultimates, being in your bedroom annoying your parents by hoiking up your music too loud. But we'll go with AC/DC, and any of their tracks obviously sound incredible loud. Highway to Hell, the title track of this record, demands that you turn up your amp when it comes on. No point having that one tinkling away in the background. This next one, I had to have a track from this band because I think they were known as being the loudest band on the scene back in the 60s. I know the Beatles certainly, well, the Beatles actually even went so far as to record a track in their honour, in a way, to try to rival them, that being Helter Skelter. But nobody really did power and volume better than The Who. This is a compilation album that I've got. Now, any of the tracks on this would sound amazing loud. The one that I think really does sound incredible by The Who is I Can See for Miles, which the drums on that, they just sound like cannons going off at the end of the world. They really do. Just really, I mean, Keith Moon the Loon, I can't imagine how exciting it would have been to see him live, particularly in the clubs in the early days when you were kind of, you know, right in front of him. Him and John Entwistle, again, he played the bass at devastating volume. Can't see any point whatsoever in listening to The Who quietly. But, you know, they're just not that kind of band, really. So, yeah, I Can See for Miles by The Who. Incredible. This next one is a bit of a left turn. The first time I heard this record, I'm pretty sure I would have had it on loud. I was living on my own at the time in a kind of bed-sit type place, you know, and I used to hoik up my records really loud. And the title track from David Bowie's Aladdin Sane is amazing loud, mainly because of the contribution of Pete Garson on piano. When his splintered piano chords come in at the end, well, not really chords, are they? It's a kind of mad piano solo. But when he hits all those low notes on the piano with a sustained pedal, it sounds incredible, really amazing. Yeah, not one to have at low volume, definitely one to experience at the top end of your amp, Aladdin Sane. And this next one, I used to listen to this, me and my dad used to listen to it on his seriously high-end hi-fi, and the entirety of side one sounds incredible, but the second and the final song on side one, if you listen to it very loud in a darkened room, it will blow your mind. That being Welcome to the Machine by Pink Floyd. When the track starts, there's a kind of low throbbing noise. It's like a generator powering up. There's all kinds of threatening sound effects on the album. It's a kind of Orwellian, dystopian, kind of machine-like ambience to it. And the guitars sound amazing. There's kind of slow strummed, maybe a 12-string guitar. Beautiful resonance. It's so well recorded. And all the synth parts towards the back end of the song, if you listen to them at top volume, it will blow the ceiling off your living room, you know, incredible. So, yeah, Floyd, Welcome to the Machine. And this one, again, I mean, as a kid, as a youngster, I would always turn up the amp with this one. Queen, Sheer Heart Attack. I mean, Brighton Rock on this record, the first track, sounds amazing. Loud, but the final song, in the Lap of the Gods Revisited, it's one of the first songs they did where Brian May, Roger Taylor and Freddie Mercury overdubbed themselves into this huge vast choir, all singing in unison, this kind of wordless chorus, a bit like Hey Jude in a way, but very dark and threatening. Keeps building, more and more voices each time, and then it finally kind of ends in this apocalyptic blaze of static at the end. And if you listen to that loud, seriously loud, it's possibly, you know, one of the most devastating endings to an album that you'll ever hear. Sort of reminds me of A Day in the Life in a way, although that ends on a big huge piano chord obviously, but I always thought that in the Lap of the Gods Revisited, with that big explosion at the end, it was Queen trying to outflank the Beatles really in some kind of huge apocalyptic ending to an album. And earlier on I mentioned Cannons at the End of the World for Keith Moon, so I've saved the best till last. This is a song which makes no sense whatsoever, listened to quietly. Most of the album is like that, but the final song in particular I think is like that, and it's partly because of the way the drums were mic'd up, partly because of the way the drummer played the song, and just the general vibe of it. But the final track on the fourth Led Zeppelin album, often known as Led Zepp 4, is When the Levee Breaks, which was recorded, I think, at Headley Grange, crumbling old mansion in England, and they mic'd up John Bonham's drum kit. I think he was playing in the huge kind of hallway of the mansion, and they managed to mic it up so that they captured all the natural resonance of the drums, and nobody's ever got a drum sound like that. It's not just the drums though, the guitars, the harmonica at the end, shrieking harmonica from Robert Plant, really apocalyptic. It takes a very old blues song from back in the mist of time and turns it into something truly powerful and apocalyptic. And the first time I heard it when I was a teenager, it blew my socks off, you know. So yeah, Led Zepp, many of their tracks sound incredible loud, but that one takes the biscuit, I think. Okay, so there's my 10. I'd be delighted if anybody would like to jump on this thread and come up with 10 more songs which have to be played at bone-crushing volume. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Bye.